So this is a helpful resource that I put together that helped teams think through the UDL principles. Specifically, a lot of times teams would read something like promote expectations and beliefs that optimize motivation, and they're like, well, how do we do that? What strategies would we employ? And so this is not an exhaustive list by any means. This is meant to be just a way to start the conversation and get teams' juices flowing. So what we did was each of these checkpoints is then broken down into a series of strategies that teams can employ that may or may not hit this specific checkpoint target. The reason why I say may or may not is it really depends on how the teacher is using the strategy. And if they're using the strategy in a way that it facilitates coping skills, then behavioral checklists might be a really helpful thing. So you have to, when you're coaching, make sure that teams understand just because you use a strategy, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's hitting the checkpoint. It's all around how they're using it, where it falls in the design. So obviously this is the checkpoints and the guidelines. This then becomes the ideas. And so it just became a way for teams to have a quick one-stop shop, look for tool that the goal would be that they stop using as they go through their as they get more and more used to making universally designed lessons. But we found that it's a nice little scaffold. And then when teams are in crisis or do feel like they'd be a little bit anxious after you leave, like when I leave after doing some coaching with them, then I'd hand this tool and say, like, use this. We've practiced it. Now we'll use this tool to help when I'm not around or when you need other ideas. So it just was a way to decrease anxiety, and teams oftentimes like to grab hold of them.